Hey folks, this is Gabe Donnelly here. It is Monday, March 25th, 2024. And just continue my YouTube series here, my YouTube video series. It's a new thing for me. Sort of feel like I was pressed into duty on this. It's a heavy topic, a really frightening one. Just chronicling this life insurance scam / fraud / plan, orchestrated by my mother, Lydia, with her ruthless partners, and there's a lot to get into, a lot to get caught up on, and so that's why we're doing so many episodes. This is the 6th episode, and if you happen to see episode 4, that was a dynamite episode. That's kind of the format I want to kind of stick to moving forward. It's about 30 minutes, rather than episode 2 and 3 was each was about an hour and a half. So, but they're massively, it's just vital to listen to those episodes to understand what's going on. But I wouldn't blame anybody if they wanted to fast forward to the last half hour of episode 2 and 3, because what happens is at the end of those 2 episodes it helps establish the fact that what I'm talking about here, what people are listening to, it's not hypothetical, like a fear that, oh well, this could spill over into violence or attempted murder or just that kind of ugliness that can just totally derail someone's life. But no, it's not anything like that. It's already, we're way past that. It happens routinely. And this is the new normal for me. So I think the one thing I talk about often in the beginning of each episode is just, the burden on, not just for me communicating it to, listeners, but people who are listening, the audience here. It's a really difficult question. Like, how can I contribute? What can I do to help? What kind of impact can I have? What can I possibly do? And like, those are totally reasonable questions. And I think they're really the way that you should feel. None of us have had any sort of formal training or experience in how to deal with these types of things or how to diffuse these types of things. And so, I just want folks to know that I feel that burden too, of how to react and all that. So, I'm doing the best I can on I know people have lives and obligations and kids and things to live up to, and so, the idea of maybe spending an hour and a half, as accurate and as thorough as that may be, listening to something not quite as appealing as a half hour at a time. So I'm going to do my best here, half hour at a time. And there's going to be more episodes, but I don't even like calling them episodes. Kind of makes it sound like I'm making an entertainment series. It's not meant for that at all. This is honestly about as close as the documentary can get, I guess. But all right, so this episode is going to pick up pretty much on the timeline at the end of episode 3. Episode 4 and 5 are great episodes, particularly 4. But at the end of episode 3, I got out of that really, that was so frightening. That hotel room that I was trapped in on the 4th floor in Jacksonville. Unbelievable nightmare. I am so fortunate to be alive. So this picks up in the aftermath of that. That was a Monday night, so that was Tuesday morning, actually. I messed that up on the episode 3. So it's whatever Tuesday, I think it's February 20th, somewhere in there, maybe, I don't know. But anyways, so after that, I, Mongoose, my loving, orange tabby cat, pet companion, he's just total dynamite. Yeah. Love him very much. He was with me, travels with me. I adopted him, and he was just a kitten, him and his brother Miles, in 2014, from the Gold Beach animal shelter, and so they've been with me their whole lives. Miles got hit by a car and died in Pistol River about 3.5 years ago. That was really sad. But Mongoose, is with me since, but not anymore. But as of a month ago, he was with me, and yeah, so we left Jacksonville that day. I didn't have a plan about where I was going. Again, if you caught up with some of the episodes, see, at that point, we're talking about a month ago now, I had known my cell phone was compromised in some manner. I wasn't sure how, though. I had no idea at that point of this whole thing about cell site simulators and stingray antennas. I had no idea about that. Or I didn't know that was actually what was going on. But I just started driving north as it was, and I ended up in Savannah, Georgia that night. How do I condense this down? So one of the issues that I talked about in the previous episodes are, the issues with my car. And these are essential to understanding how, this life insurance scam and fraud, how it's on top of me, suffocating me, and I can't get away from it. It's not something that I can just get away from or drive away from or go anywhere else. And so it's essential to understand that the reason why that's true is, it turns out to be, these problems with my car. It's not me just like randomly talking about car trouble. Yeah, there are two things there. In episode 4, it covers, pretty succinctly, or pretty emphatically, I should say, the problem of the signal, the electronic signal or radio waves that it gives off when it's in range of these antennas, these stingray antennas. That's a major problem. Like, pardon the phrase, it's a major fuck up that my car came pre-installed with that in some malicious manner, meaning it's still on there. And if you look at, on my YouTube channel, there's a 1 minute and 40-second video that I have on, and that I capture the of what the car is doing, the sounds that it makes in that 1 minute and 40-second video. It's phenomenal. You gotta turn the sound up, but that's the sound, and that is what it does when it's giving off this signal. It goes for a long time, and it's just like in your face. And so that's what it does when it gets in range of these cell site simulators. So I talk about that in episode 4. But the other issue with the car is the key fob security vulnerability. So it's just what it sounds like. If you have a key fob that you just press lock and unlock, like pretty much everybody, you leave your car somewhere, you lock it. Yeah. So 2021 Honda Accord models and some other Honda models, the key fob has a particular security vulnerability that allows, the long and the short of it is, it allows people to get in your car even after you've locked it. But I don't know any of this, right? When I'm leaving, even a month ago, leaving Jacksonville, heading up to Savannah. But it starts to, what you see is, people start getting into my car, literally, after I've locked it. And things start disappearing. but they start disappearing in piecemeal fashion, and not all at once, where it's like everything was grabbed from you all at once. And yeah, we'll get into that as well. But you have to understand, you have to think about this though. If you're a person, you're wherever you are, even if you're by yourself, and I'm a single person, you get out somewhere and you're in America, you go to the mall, you go to the store, you get out, you lock your car. And so if something turns up missing, it doesn't occur to you that it's been stolen out of the car per se, right? You just think, well, okay, maybe it's missing, or maybe it's, I misplaced it, that kind of stuff. Like how can it be stolen out of my car if I lock it all the time? It doesn't make any sense. So it takes a while to sort of, I guess enough things have to go missing before you realize, oh shit, and some other things start happening too. But when I get to Savannah, what happens is, the first creepy thing that happens is that I pull up to a stoplight and I see Curtis Dvorak. Curtis being the guy who lives in Jacksonville, like former Jackson DeVille, who's the mascot for the Jaguars. And so I see him. Like, I pull up to a stoplight. I'm on the right lane. He's on the left. I recognize his car too. He has a Volvo SUV. And I recognized it from just the lunch that we had. That was the car he got into. Or got out of and got into there. So it was the same car. I looked over, it was him, and he sort of like, acknowledged seeing me. And so then maybe 2 minutes later, I get a audio message from him saying, "Oh, hey Gabe, I'm in Jacksonville," which he's not. Savannah's like, I guess maybe 3 hours north of Jacksonville. So I'm in Jacksonville, just sitting down and have dinner. So naturally, I'm not, I don't want to get it too much into that at the moment, but obviously one thought I have when I get that message from Curtis after just seeing him, understand, like, what is he doing in Savannah? Like, obviously it's predicated on me. I was cornered in that hotel room. That they had me dead to rights, pretty much. I somehow got out of it by like a fractional, like electron microscope slide, of my teeth, skin of my teeth. I got out of that situation, and so now, I just started heading north. And that night, I see Curtis, the guy, along with Ira, who's one of the people who's responsible for that situation in the night before. So like, duh, like, of course that situation, him being there is predicated on me. I just picked Savannah out randomly. Like, I didn't make a hotel reservation or anything. So I see him over there, and then he instantly leaves me this audio message about how he's in Jacksonville. And so naturally I think to myself, well, here we are again. Obviously, Curtis, he doesn't think I'm going to make it to tomorrow. The night before, he certainly didn't think I was going to make it to today. But he's really, really confident that we're not going to make it to tomorrow because I just saw him, right? And he acknowledged seeing me, and then he leaves me the message saying, "Oh, I'm in Jacksonville." That's a really easy thing to whatever, like, pick apart if I'm alive. Everything's difficult if you're dead. It won't happen. So I didn't say anything. I didn't respond to anything. I just knew at that moment to be really, really careful, as if I didn't need that reminder. But that was a reminder saying, yeah, it's not enough to be careful. It's now. Like, it's still now. So sure enough, I pull into the Verizon store maybe a minute or two later, which is only like 200 yards away, and there's a guy idling there on the side of the building. This is like 7:40. It's like 20 minutes from closing time. Maybe it's 8:40, whatever it is. Whatever it was close to closing time. And so I noticed that, there's a car idling on the side of the building, but whatever. I get out of my car, I lock it. Remember, Mongoose is inside, as he always is. I lock the car. I go in. The guy peels off. He's definitely expecting me, that guy, which is, yeah, that's something that happens a lot now. But I'm there to talk to him about a problem on this prepaid phone I bought. But when I get in there and I start talking to him and showing the problem, I realize that I had brought the wrong phone in. So I go back, I have my back turned to my car. So I sort of abruptly like go back out to my car, to get the phone that I was intending to get. And as I do that, I see it. My car door shutting. Like, I see it, folks. And somebody like taking off. And I was like, whew, like, not a situation that I even want to approach, but Mongoose is in the car. And yeah, I mean, Mongoose means, the world to me. And so I ran over there, and he's not there. He's gone. Mongoose is gone. No, I don't think that on that instance that I didn't naturally think that he was abducted. I just know that somebody got in my car, and whatever the plan was, you have to understand, Mongoose he's just a wizard. He doesn't like other people in a good way. He's just very skeptical of other people. He's untrusting. He thinks people are there to, new people have to prove themselves, and he just doesn't want to get hurt. He thinks people could hurt him, and here it is, But whatever door, they're only going to open one door, and so he has, in order to escape that person, he had to run through them essentially, and he does it. But I get out there. I'm just obviously frantic, and so I do what any person would do. I immediately call 911. So, but understand, like, I'm in my 40s now. I've never called 911 in my life before January 15th. So then I have this situation on January 15th where I'm frantically trying to call 911. I can't get through. Then there's the night before, in Jacksonville, or whatever, the morning before, I guess it would be that morning, where I'm trying to call 911, can't get through, even the day before that, where I had that bizarre hotel situation where they canceled on me, and I ended up calling 311 asking, should they send an officer out, and they did, and that turned into actually a really important piece of evidence that demonstrates the authenticity of the serious, but I mean, where are we up to? That's 3 times right there. And now here I am a 4th time the next day having to call 911 again, because I mean his Mongoose is gone. Like, it's not even a possibility, folks, for anyone to say, and I'm not saying anybody would do this besides my mother, of course, would say that, oh, you're just calling 911 because, I don't know, because you're imagining things or something like that, right? I don't think anyone would say that anyways, but just in case they are, it's not even a possibility, because Mongoose, he's gone. My beloved, friend, he's gone. So where is he? He didn't run from me. So yeah, I called 911, and that's a whole other story. Yeah, the officers get there, and they don't seem to know at all. Yeah. They basically seemed like they were prepped for something else, and I'm the one who had to explain to them that no, my cat, Mongoose, was, somebody got in the back of my car, and, Mongoose is gone, and you helped me, find him. The officers acted like I had an actual mongoose, and they started making these jokes to me like, well, what do you expect? He's an animal. He could do anything. He's totally unpredictable. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, well, did I do something wrong here? Like, I went into the Verizon store. I turned my back for a minute. I come back out. There's somebody like robbing me in some fashion, and my beloved pet runs out, and I call 911 like a normal person, right? And now I'm getting like, just sort of whatever, like made fun of because he's an animal. What do you expect? Like I'm doing something wrong. And so I explained to them that no, it's a cat. It's by the situation. They were nicer then, but yeah, basically it turns into a situation where the only thing they wanted to know was, oh, hey, have you made plans for tonight? Like hotel plans? Folks, this is a big deal because it's the only night, the very first time, forever, that I haven't made reservations ahead of time on my phone, right? AKA people who had access to my phone, whatever, spying on me that way, they would know exactly ahead of time where I was going, where I was staying, and yada, yada, yada. So it's a big deal. It's not just the usual officer saying, hey, where you headed tonight and all that. Kind of like one of the questions, you get, whatever, pulled over by the state patrol and, that. Folks, I can tell the difference. And so all they want to know is, well, where you headed? Have you made plans for a night? In other words, not to beat a dead horse here, they essentially revealed to me that they somehow know that I haven't made hotel reservations yet. Sorry, I mean, that's what it comes down to. Yeah. So I make note of that too, along with the whole thing about Curtis. Like, yikes. So I'm the one who eventually finds Mongoose that night. After they leave, it was a terrible situation. I had to run back across this street, and I found him finally. He came running back to me. I was so relieved to have found him then. But that was a big wake-up call about, somebody getting in my car like that confidently. And I have really dark tinted windows. There's no way a person can know, if there's other people in the car or anything. It's not just a random thing. Like, they knew I was single, which is, it's clear as day, obviously connected to Curtis and Ira. It's just a continuation of what we're talking about, in the previous episode. So, all right, I corral Mongoose. Like, hang on to your hats for this. Then I go to a gas station, and I'm looking around for, accommodations on my phone, kind of like not making reservations, but yeah, just trying to find what hotel I'm going to go to. And then, so I go into the gas station, and while I'm in the gas station, it happens again. I'm not even kidding. Somebody opens the door to, gets in the back of my car, and Mongoose, I come back out, he's gone again. And you might say, well, geez, like, after the first time, how can you not let that happen? Because there are times when I've got to go leave my car. Sometimes, like, how am I going to get gas? I got to go in, park my car, go in, give the money there to the cash register, and and so it happens again. Like, the very next time I get out of my car, it happens again. So this previous 10 years of Mongoose and I's existence, no break-ins, no missing mongooses, no crisis. Now we have twice in an hour and 20 minutes. I lock my car, go in somewhere, and it's somebody immediately is plundering through my car, and Mongoose is gone again. Again. So this time, at this gas station, it's getting later now. It's like 10, 10:30, 11. But the amount of people that are swarming around the gas station, cars and all that, it's like Mongoose doesn't like any of those noises. Whatever the strategy is, I don't know, but I don't know in the moment, but all I care about is finding Mongoose, and I'm, it's such a difficult situation because I'm in a totally foreign place. I've never been there before. It's late at night. We all know what happened the days, before. Like, we know, like, I know, of course, these people are hot on, like, let's be frank about the situation. They're hot on killing me. Duh. I hate that I have to even, like, water down that, to make it sound like I'm not, melodramatic or whatever. But that's the situation, okay? And that's pretty brazen to open my car the moment that I go into the gas station now. So I spend this time like 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours trying to find Mongoose. It's really difficult. It's really scary because there's so many cars coming in and out of the gas station, like a totally artificial amount of cars. Like I said, it's a Tuesday night. It's like 11:30. There's like 15 cars or 20. It's not even a very big gas station. circling around, and really disturbingly, there's a guy that, same kind of deal, like idling on the side of Verizon, but this time doing the gas station. I see him parked there. I'm really good at this kind of stuff, at maintaining, just noticing something really important, but also simultaneously maintaining, being on earth, just acting totally oblivious to it. But I see this guy is parked there, and he's just like, I'm looking for Mongoose in all these places around the gas station. But what's scary is, and I make a note of it, is it's in a wooded, sort of forested area. It's unusual for a gas station. It's actually not that, far away from this situation. But so okay, I just have a really bad feeling about going around back to this gas station, because that's the area where, there's, I don't know what's back there, but like if somebody is back there, with a gun, basically if I'm going to be murdered or killed, it's going to be back there, because if I go back there, I have no recourse, right? It's the back of a gas station. It's like a totally wooded, forested area out there. So I'm cognizant of that. In other words, all these cars that are swarming around, that's kind of good. It can work against you and it can work for you. Like the areas I'm looking for, it's close enough to where cars are that, I feel like I can go in certain wooded areas. But if I go behind this gas station, I've got a really bad feeling. And sure enough, as I'm doing that, people come up to me and goes, hey, I saw a rabbit hopping over there. Maybe he went to go, maybe Mongoose went to go, check that out. Like pointing to the back. And I was like, oh yeah, check it out. Yeah, thank you. Really appreciate it. Suddenly these people who don't give a shit about me are saying, oh yeah, and so maybe a half hour goes by and I don't go back there. I don't follow the lead about this rabbit. And sure enough, like half hour later, another person comes up and goes, yeah, I saw a rabbit up back there. Yeah, I think he went around back. And so naturally I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, like there's no way on earth I'm going back there. And there's no way, the Mongoose is not gonna be back there for sure. So I just do my thing. I go over to this, I'm on foot, but I don't stray away from my car too far, and I don't stray away from traffic too far. It's a delicate process. And I'm calling Mongoose all the while. And it's finally about midnight that Mongoose comes up to me, and I find him in this, not anywhere near the back of there. Oh, I should mention this. There's one more attempt to get me to go back to the, at the back of the gas station, and it's the scariest one. It's a girl who comes up to me and says, hey, this time she didn't talk about a rabbit per se. She said, she acted like she was really, interested in helping me. Oh, it's your cat. I said, yeah, And she said, oh yeah. And she kind of walked with me and was leading me to the back there. And I said, yeah, I'm kind of nervous about heading back there. I just joked with her. I don't want to, get shot to death or anything like that. And so we're on the side of the building here. Give you an idea. This, I say this to her like the equivalent of, let's say right there, right? This is not the same place, but, and then that's the back. So it's close enough where I know that I'm not going to take another step in that direction. I know that. But as soon as I said that thing about, getting shot to death, she said, well, you could do anything to me back there as well. Sort of defensively saying that I could rape her or something like that. And I guess immediately cut her off. I said, hey, you're the one who approached me here. I didn't ask for your help. You approached me and asked me if you're gonna help find my cat. So in other words, obviously it's not me trying to trick her into a situation where I'm trying to rape her. She approached me. And so when she said that, when I said that to her, it scared her, and she like kind of went the other direction immediately. And I was just like, holy hell. And so at that point, I went around to the front, and that's when that guy who was like tracking me, he took off. But that's what was happening in that situation. That guy who was, parked his car and was, tracking me, he was communicating with whoever was back there for sure, like 100%. And they were trying to entice me to get back there. And that's why, like, you don't get a chance to die first and then say, see, like, that's what they were doing. Like, duh, like, why do you think they were abducting Mongoose like that? And it makes you wonder, it makes you wonder about the first situation with the guy with the Verizon, had I not called 911, or basically, if I just started looking for Mongoose in that situation without calling the police, that would have been a horrendously bad situation for me. But I didn't. I immediately called them. It's a whole lot of things that could have. I also happened to see what happened there, but in the situation that I was in the Verizon store for longer, and I came out and he was missing, it wouldn't be so obvious that it was, somebody abducting it. But see, like, look at the second time though. Like, I'm hesitant to call 911. Why? Because of the response I got the first time, but just credibility, right? It's like, well, it's not going to be met with understanding and empathy, for me. It's just going to be like, well, how could you let this happen twice or whatever, that type of thing. And so, yeah, that was a hellaciously difficult situation in Savannah, but it didn't end there. Those two, what do you want to call them, attempts, and the second one, that was like, whoa. Another note about this is, see, while the Verizon store may have been somewhat predictable for me to go to, with my phone troubles and wanting answers, that gas station that I picked out is totally random. Totally. I just happened to stop there. I went to one gas station and it attracted too much attention. I almost got hemmed in there. So then I drove for a while to this next gas station, but it's totally random. And so that plan to take Mongoose out, you have to just think this through. The plan was, no matter where I went, they were gonna, get Mongoose out of the car. Duh. As illustrated by doing it not once but twice. And the only times I got out of the car. So that was the plan. Why do you think they're doing that? Well, separating me from Mongoose creates a situation where I'm going to frantically look for him, of course, and stray away from my car, aka the only thing that is protecting me in a strange area. Or, the only thing I can use to get away from people. And so you have to see things that way. And so that was really frightening, and it wasn't even close to over yet, because then I had to go look for a hotel. And this was if you're thinking like, yeah, this guy, hasn't he got the message yet about not staying in hotels? Folks, I got the message, but unfortunately I had to stay at a hotel one more time to figure it out. I so carefully vetted this hotel, the one in Savannah, and I consider like what I'm walking into at that point. It's like after midnight, and I've now recovered Mongoose twice in two really harrowing, nasty situations. After, the night before, which chronicled the end of episode 3, it's like, my God. So I cruise around looking for hotels, and there's a section of Savannah there's like a Quality Inn or Comfort Inn. There's what is it called? Staybridge, or what's it called? Homewood Suites. Key here. Stand by, folks. Sorry, I'm not exactly like James Cameron or Martin Scorsese directing here. Oh. Okay, damn it. Not Candlewood. I guess it is Staybridge Suites. So yeah, but that's where it was in in Savannah. So first I went to the the Comfort Inn, and I asked, hey, do you have any rooms available? And she said, only on the fourth floor or third, because I asked, you have to remember I'm traumatized from the situation in Jacksonville. So I asked, yeah, do you have any rooms on the ground floor there? And she said, no, I only have one, one room, and it's like on level 3 or 4 or 5 or something like that. I don't want to go there. So ultimately, I go to the other one, Homewood Suites or Staybridge, whatever. It's something like that. Country Suites. Maybe that's what it is. And they take pets. So I go in there, and remember, I know, I've seen Curtis, so I know he's somewhere. And so I have to assume that, yeah, he's going to be pretty interested where I'm at. Of course, what else? Other reason he's even there. So I go into this place, whatever, Country Suites, and I ask, hey, you have any rooms on the ground floor? And he does. And, but I get it's a really creepy vibe from the guy. He's real quiet, but just sort of looking at me. And, in this way that, sorry, but you just know when somebody's acting like a creep and when they're not. So, okay. And I tell him I have a pet, and I pay cash, and he shows me where the room is. And it turns out that it's on the ground floor, but it gives me the room that's all the way down the hall, and the other door, I say other door, not the front entrance door, but sort of the side door you get some of these hotels that you just have to sort of swipe your card and then you're in. It's that door. It's like right next to that one. It's 2 inches away. There's not another room between that door and not another room between my room and that door. In other words, it's really convenient for me to, just drive around. It's 1 o'clock in the morning now. Just drive around and go load in that way instead of coming in through the front door. And I just noticed, sorry, that's just too convenient for me. But I don't say anything. Listen to hang on to your hats again. So he gives me a key, but it's in one of those little white envelopes. Just, the room key. The cards. So it says my room on 113 or something. But remember, I have Mongoose in the car. It's another illustration of how Mongoose saves my life. He really is something. And so what do I do once I pay for the room and ostensibly get the key? Well, that guy thinks that I'm going to go take the car and go all the way around where there's a parking spot and just go in that way. But that's not what I'm going to do. I asked him where I can park, and he goes, oh yeah, just go around there. I go, so I do go around there, but not all the way to the back. I essentially take the first parking space I can find it's kind of closer to the front, or it's basically halfway between the front entrance and then this rear entrance. And it's the type of hotel that those are the only 2 entrances, okay? For sure. That's it. So I get back there. I'm very, very careful unloading the car. Get my backpack on. I get Mongoose with me, and I walk. Where do I walk? I walk back to the front door. Of course I do. It's my life we're talking about here, and Mongoose's life. And so I get there, and Mongoose, I gotta tell you, he is going bananas. He wants to get away, and he just doesn't do that with me. He's afraid of something. He's just digging in the claws, wanting to escape, and I really had to hold him. And I could see, I just know him. He was terrified. And at that point, there's nobody around. There's everything's completely still and all that. He's really scared. And so I say, okay, this is, it's game time here. As tired as I am, I need to be at my best here. So I go in, I walk down, I walk past the front desk where I just checked in, and I walk all the way down that hall. And I've got Mongoose digging on me. And I take that key, that little envelope, and I open it up, and I'm fumbling around with it. Folks, there's not a key in there. It's like it's like a business card, or forget, it might have been just another one of those white envelopes like rolled up in there. But it was hard to, I had to like shake it out. Folks, do you understand the significance of that? In other words, had I, when I parked there, just gone around to the back entrance, right? To swipe the key to get in, I didn't have a key. So I would have been back there. They would have known I wouldn't have been able to get in at all because I didn't have a key, folks. And yeah, they would have shot me to death. The reason why we know that comes up soon. So I realized that in the moment, and I go back up to the front desk and I say, hey, I pretend to not notice. Hey, I think the key gave me, I must have just dropped it or something like that. And so he gives me, that's the way you got to play it at that point. It's like, damn, it's scary. So then he gives me a key, and Mongoose is just, whew. But he finally gives me a key. So then I go back down to the hall and open it, get in there. But yeah, he didn't. He pretended to give me a key, but it wasn't the key. It just said the name of the the number on it, and it felt like it was a key in there, but it wasn't. Unbelievable. So I get in my room and I'm just thinking, okay, now what? Me and Mongoose are in there, and I'm so tired I'd fall asleep. I'm awoken at, another thing is, this happens consistently. When you get a hotel room and then you happen to be in a hotel room that's like, has the adjoining room with a door, right? And you can lock that door, of course, but it's still, it's just an invasion of privacy. Well, that happens to me now all the time. Whatever room I get, it's always got that dynamic in play, which, okay. So that's one thing I noticed. But at that point at night, everything's really, really quiet. And so I am awoken though at like 7:30 in the morning for the phone ringing. Folks, I just checked into this room. Like, who could it possibly be? Well, it's gotta be the front desk, all right? And so, yeah, sure enough, I answer, hello? Oh, hey, this is so-and-so the front desk. We were just checking to see if you, something ridiculous, like if you paid for your room. I was like, what? I said, yeah, you didn't use a credit card, so did you use cash? I said, yeah, you used cash. Oh, okay, yeah, we got it now. Folks, in other words, that's what, it was a phone call to make sure I'm still in there. I'm still alive, I'm still in there, because I hadn't made a sound, yeah. So I'm thinking about how I can get, I'm pretty freaked out about that situation. So I told him on the phone, I'm going, hey, by the way, I think I'm going to stay another night here, which, yeah, I'm not going to do. But then I start, I get in the shower, I kind of do a hurry up offense. Folks, I hear in that room over, it's Curtis. I hear. He has a very distinct voice, like 100%. I hear his voice. And he's talking to somebody in there, and now I'm thinking to myself, like, what are they trying to set me up for? Like, no, I'm not gonna. It feels like one of those situations where they're really trying to get me to say, hey, Curtis, I know it's you, or whatever. But I'm just like, whoa. In other words, if he could be there and choose not to be heard. Like, if you want, he could keep his voice down. So I don't know, maybe it's even over like I have no idea. It's a recording of his voice. I'm not sure what the angle is, but it's probably some sort of angle to make it look like I'm making things up or imagining things. But I am really careful not to say anything. Maybe it is a recording of him, and but I saw him the day before, so yeah. So in the morning, what happens is, I round up my stuff, I get out of there. The people next door, or sharing that wall with me, that room, it's with Curtis, it's a older lady and a young kid, like a mom and a kid, maybe a woman in her late 40s, 50s, and a kid maybe who is 8 to 11 years old. And they make it a point of, whenever time I go out, they're walking in from that door, that back door, that's right next to my room, right? As if to say, oh, yeah, just, family, regular family here, just coming back and forth. But it's just so contrived. Like, and the reason why I know that is I actually tried really, really hard to open my door and not be seen by anybody. Think about that. That was actually a mission for me. I want to open my door because they didn't know I was going to check out, supposedly. So I actually wanted to not be seen by anybody. So, like, the idea that the second I open my door, they come, like dashing in from there. It's like, come on. I'm sorry. It's like a little too convenient for me. So I, again, totally avoid going that way and head down the hall. And it saves my life again. Because when I get to the car with Mongoose, I see these two dudes, there's two black dudes, and they're sitting by a car and they're staring me. They're right at that back door. Remember, I'm parked halfway between the front desk entrance and that back door. They're right there. I can't say I saw guns. They certainly look like they have them, but they're staring me down. What do in that situation? They got in their car. They backed, like right in front of me, or with me watching. They backed their car, which has no front license plate, into this back corner space, similar to kind of like where that car is, but right up against the dumpster. So in other words, if I wanted to get that license plate number, I would have to go the only way. And there's another feature about this parking lot I should mention. There's only one way out of there, and one way in and one way out. So if I wanted to go like see what that, see more about the situation, where I wouldn't come back from that. In order to see those guys' license plates, I would probably be shot to death. But that's what those guys were there for. They were just right there. They were right there at the door, waiting for me. 100%, like I saw it. And so I got out of there and I said, oh my God, like this is like, what a fucking scary situation. Terrifying. And I just made the commitment that night. I'm not going to stay in another hotel room anytime soon, that's for sure. When you think about that situation in Savannah, that was however many times you want to score that. With Mongoose, with them opening my car twice, the only 2 times I get out, Mongoose runs out of there. It certainly does look like the plan was to get Mongoose to run out and me to go look for him. It does look like that. I can leave it up to the opinions of each listener, but yeah. Trying not to be too redundant, but let's just think about it. I get out of my car twice, and twice Mongoose, somebody comes, opens the door on a locked car, and Mongoose is gone both times. So I'd say that's pretty, that's pretty damning evidence. So when you really add it up, though, it's 4 times in that night, chances to die. Once at the Verizon place, the second time at the gas station with the whole luring me to the back with a rabbit and that girl trying to take me back there, and then arriving to the hotel and not going back to that back entrance that at that 1 o'clock in the morning, after the guy gives me the little white envelope key that doesn't have a key in it. If I would have gone back there, I wouldn't have any way in there at all. That's a slam dunk death right there. And then again in the morning, after they call me at 7:30 to confirm that I'm there, or whatever you want to call that, but also dangling this mom and and a child right in front of me, like, oh yeah, it's no problem. But the way that she looked at me, also, they looked at me. Like, people do look at you, and they certainly treat you different if they think you're going to die or you think whatever, like, you know, whatever sort of nefarious or horrifying plan. They look at you like you're, you know, a ghost or a dead man walking. Like, yeah, no smiling, just nervousness. So yeah, and then I avoid that door again. And go all the way around, and then I see those two guys, and I just like get in the car and like peel out and get the hell out of there. Like, that's when you think about all of that, how every single time I'm that close to just like one more step in the wrong direction, you get shot to death. Like, that's what's happening, folks. I mean, yeah, that's just the way it happened, and yeah, so. Geez, we're up to 50 minutes already. I can't believe that. Sorry.